Hi there. Welcome to the Whiskey Catapult, where we catapult around the world and trying whiskeys from all over the world. So today, we're catapulting up the list from Glenfiddich. So we're staying in Scotland, staying at Glenfiddich in the Speyside region, but this is their travel retail exclusive, Perpetual Collection VAT number 3, aged for 15 years. And I'm doing this review just after reviewing the 15-year Solara Reserve that you can get regularly at pretty much any liquor store at this point. This one being travel retail exclusive, you can only get this at airports and duty-free shops. Now, there are some websites that I've found that are selling this, so you don't have to buy an international ticket to get it. You can also find it at auctions. There's other ways to get it, but that's mainly where they're selling it. But it is non-chill filtered, and it is 50.2% ABV. So higher ABV, which is exactly what I was hoping for if you saw my last review for the 15 year. That's got a much stronger nose. So I do have the regular 15 here, still here from my last review. So I will be doing a comparison. But I like Glenfiddich. When I saw this one, Glenfiddich 15 is one of my favorite ones. If you saw my last review, absolutely love the stuff. I was hoping that this would be a cast strength or higher strength version of that one. We'll see how close it is. It's much fruitier on the nose. It really comes through more here on the other than the other one. There's a little bit of oak, very subtle at the tail end. But the fruit's really driving it forward. There's a little bit of that maltiness kind of coming through as well. It smells really nice. If you like sherry cask finished whiskeys, this is definitely up there. Almost a creaminess in here. Not quite. Big flavors. Definitely the sherry cask coming through. A lot of fruit. This one packs a punch. It's not overwhelmingly strong. It doesn't have that alcohol burn on here. But the flavor is just really packs a wallop. Okay. As the sherry notes kind of fade, the oak, the Speyside funk kind of start coming through a little bit. It's nice. It's really nice. Okay. Ooh. There's not a lot of fruit on the finish. It actually goes more into the kind of that oak spice as the dominant note on the finish. And then it kind of has some maltiness, some of that Speyside funk that kind of rounds it out. Interesting. I would have thought the fruit would have been more dominant on the finish, but I guess not. It's still really nice, though. So, my hope on this one is that it would be the same whiskey from their Solera system that they use for the Glenfiddich 15 regular release. I haven't been able to confirm that that's the case. So this is from, it says, harmonizing in our unique Solera VAT number 3. So it is using their Solera system, but it's using a VAT to kind of marry it together. And it matured in European oak sherry, new oak, and ex-bourbon cask for over 15 years. So it's harmonizing in the Solera VAT. It's not actually from the Solera system. So not quite the same as the regular 15-year release, but still pretty good. I can dig it. So I think, I'm trying to remember how much I paid for this one. If I remember right, it was around 100 to 120 pounds is what I saw it for last time I was at the airport. I was fortunate that my dad was flying internationally and he was able to pick this up for me. So That's pretty good. But comes in a nice little cardboard box or tube. But looks nice. So if you see this one, this is it. I know that they have a lot of different VAT numbers for their international releases. I think their 18-year is VAT number 2, if I recall correctly. But yeah, this one's solid. Let's see. That spice coming through with the sherry notes is just fantastic. Yeah, that's really good. All right, I want to compare it to the regular 15 release. So they're not going to be exactly the same, and this one just be higher proof, which is kind of what I was hoping for. But it's not to say this one's bad. It's just different. This is the regular 15. Yeah, this one's a little bit creamier. It's not as sherry dominant. You get a little bit more of the maltiness and kind of that funkiness that you get from Space Side scotches. Whereas this one is dark fruit all day. That's not surprising given the strength of it. I can barely taste the regular 15 after drinking this one. It's got the creamy. It's got the light oak spice in there. I don't get very much of the fruit, but after coming from this one, that doesn't surprise me. But yeah, from an ABV, it can't stand. I don't think this is a fair comparison, unfortunately. And that's not to say the regular. That's not to say this regular 15 release is bad by any means. It's just 40% ABV next to a 50.2%. That's a tough comparison. But it's still good. You still get some of the finish actually cuts through pretty well. You still get some of the barrel notes in there, some of the Space Side funk and maltiness in there. You just don't get the fruit, but this one is just overwhelmingly sherry. Not in a bad way. And not to the point of so I wouldn't call it a sherry bomb, but if you've had a Macallan 12 or a Tamdu 12 that is a sherry predominant scotch, this lines up with that. Very well, actually. It's a shame they don't make this a regular release outside travel retail. I think whiskey enthusiasts would go big on this one. Yep. Really big sherry, and as that tones down, the oak spice kind of comes in as a top layer. And okay, now the maltiness is coming through. A little bit of funk at the end, but I'm gonna add just a little bit of water to this. Just a few drops. See if that opens it up a bit more. Well, it's calming the nose down quite a bit. The nose actually lines up a little bit more with the regular 15 release. Okay. The sherry notes have calmed down now. They're not as intense. And the other flavors are starting to rise up a bit. So I'd hate to say it's more balanced, but given that the sherryness is kind of softened a bit and everything else is a little bit more prominent, I guess that's the best use of the best example I could use for that. So if you can't get this one, regular 15 release is a good option. I think a Tamdu 12 or a Tamdu 15 would be another comparable whiskey for this one. It's not going to have quite the ABV. If I remember right, those are both the 43 and 46% respectively for the age statements. But if you have to be passing through, I think we got this one at Heathrow in London. You have to be passing through the airport with an international ticket. I think that's a good buy. I'd recommend it. And if not, keep an eye out on international websites. Like I said, I've seen them on a few here and there. I wouldn't be surprised if they weren't selling super well in travel retail shops, and so they decided to expand it out a little bit. But, yeah, that's pretty good. I've seen them at auction too, but, yeah. Let's see. Glenfiddich can do really good stuff if they don't, filter it down to 40%. It's not to say that some of their, regular releases are, but, man, they could really take some names with stuff like this. So, yeah, I recommend. Worth a pickup. So, if you enjoyed this review, hit that like button and subscribe to see where we catapult off to next. Cheers.